Fee 102, Study Session 9, Rules for Definitions. Introduction. In this study session, we will examine some of the rules that have been propounded in constructing good definition. These rules are otherwise known as genus and difference. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to apply rules in construction definitions. Genus and difference. There are 5 rules that have been traditionally laid down for constructing good definitions. These rules are to guide us in defining a term and show whether the definition given to the term is good or bad. A good definition, therefore, requires the thoughtful selection of the most appropriate genus for the term in question, as well as the identification of the most helpful specific difference for that term. Copy et al., 2006, page 453. Rule 1. A definition should state the essential attributes of the species. By essential attributes of the species, we mean those attributes which constitute the conventional criterion of defining a term or species. In other words, if the essential attributes of species are absent in definition that we have given to the species, then such species is not properly defined. Also, we violate this rule if we define a term using as its specific difference some attribute that is not normally recognized as its attribute, even though it may be part of that term objective intension. Copy et al., 2006, page 453. This means that a definition should state the conventional intention of or the set of characteristics that belong to the term being defined. Now let us consider the following definitions. Father is the head of a family. Man is a being that moves about in search of food, water, and shelter. 4, 2012, page 61. A look at the 2 definitions above will reveal that in each case, the definiant is not stating the essential or conventional attributes of a definidum. In other words, in defining the term father, for instance, one expects the conventional attributes like male, parent, to feature in the definiant. Rule 2. A definition must not be secular. A secular definition is a faulty definition that relies on the knowledge of what is being defined. Copy et al., 2006, page 453. This implies that a definition must not be repetitive. If, for instance, the definidum itself appears in definiants, then the definition is said to be secular because it is not explaining the meaning of the definidum and therefore fails in its purpose. As a matter of fact, you will be breaking this rule if you use any of the synonyms of the definidum in the definiants. Now let us consider the following definitions. Teacher is a person who teaches in a school. Calculator is a machine used in calculating mathematical operations. In each of the 2 definitions above, the definidum appears in the definiants, thereby violating Rule 2 and rendering the definition secular. Rule 3. A definition must be neither too broad nor too narrow. When in a definition, the definiant denotes more things or fewer things than are denoted by the definidum, then the definition is too broad or too narrow respectively. A historical violation of this rule was recorded in Plato's academy at Athens. Plato's successor in the academy at Athens once settled on the definition of man as a fatherless biped. To show that the definition was too broad, their critic, Joingens, plugged the chicken and threw it over the wall into the academy. Of course, there was a featherless biped, but no man. Copy et al., 2006, page 454. What this suggests is that the definition ought to be precise in order not to confuse people about the information it is trying to convey. This rule is violated in the following definitions. 1. Bird is any two-footed vertebrate. 2. Cat is any flesh-eating mammal. Rule 4. Ambiguous, obscure, or figurative language must not be used in a definition. Ambiguous definitions do not allow for clear communication of ideas. In our last study session, we have pointed out that ambiguous word or expression is capable of more than one interpretation. It can also be vague, indistinct, or difficult to classify. Therefore, ambiguous terms should be avoided in definitions in order to allow the definition to explain the definiendum. In other words, if the definitions is itself ambiguous, the purpose of definition is defeated, though one may not rule out the fact that what is obscure to amateurs may be perfectly familiar to professionals. It is instructive to state that the use of metaphors in definitions may also lead to obscurity and garble the meaning of definiendum. This rule is violated in the following definitions offered by Copy et al. 2006. Net is anything reticulated or discossated at equal distances with interistics between the intersection. 2. Oratory is a conspiracy between speech and action to cheat the understanding. Rule 5. A definition should not be negative where it can be affirmative. This refers to the fact that we should not use language to obfuscate the facts, because it is what a term does mean, rather than what it does not mean, that the definition seeks to provide. A definition is supposed to explain what a term or definiendum means, rather than what it does not. Thus, a definition should not be negative where it can be affirmative. This implies the awareness that there are some terms whose definitions are essentially negative. For instance, employing the affirmative definition will not help in explaining the term orphan. Rather, the term is best defined as a child who does not have parents. The foregoing is clearly suggesting that we should endeavor to identify the attributes that the definiendum has, rather than those it does not have. Copy et al. 2006, page 455. The following definitions violate this rule. Couch is a piece of furniture that is not a bed or chair, or a stool or a bench. Copy et al. 2006, page 454. 2. Lion is a cat that is not a tiger or a leopard. Study session summary. In this study session, we looked at rules for definition by genus and difference, with a view to showing thoughtful selection of the most appropriate genus for any term to be defined. We identified 5 rules that have been traditionally laid down for constructing good definitions and explained them one after the other. End of study session 9. Thank you for listening.